In this video, we are going to see what is planning problem, simple planning agent. First, what is planning? The task of coming up with a sequence of actions that will achieve a goal is called planning. There are two types of planning environments. First one is classical planning environment. Second one is non-classical planning environment. What is classical planning environment? It is fully observable, deterministic, finite, static and discrete. Non-statistical planning environments is a partially observable, stochastics with different algorithms and agent designs. Some of the difficulties in problem solving agent are performs irrelevant actions. For a given problem, we have to explore all the states. For example, if you want to buy a book with the 10-digit ISBN, so that tends to 10 to the power of 10 actions. So another difficulty is finding heuristic functions. Problem solving agent lacks autonomy because it depends on human to supply heuristic functions for each and every new problem. Another difficulty is no problem decomposition. All these problems are overcome by planning agent by representing the goal as conjunction of subgoals. First, we need to see what is planning problem. The planning problem is actually the question how to go next state or the next goal from the current state. It involves two things, how and when. The planning problem is defined with domain model, initial state, goal state. What is domain model? It defines with the actions along with the objects. It is necessary to specify the operators too that actually describe the action. Along with this, information about the actions and state constraints while acting should also be given. This entirely formulates the domain model. The initial state is the state where any action is yet to take place. For example, the stage when the exam schedule is put up. The final state or the goal state is the state which the plan is intended to achieve. The planning problem is to find sequence of actions. It achieves a given goal from the given initial world state. It contains a set of operator descriptions, an initial state description, a goal state descriptions. The goal state description is also called as predicate. First, we need to compute a plan. Plan is nothing but a sequence of operator instances. It executing them in the initial state will change the world to a state satisfying the goal state description. Goals, it is specified as a conjunction of subgoals to be achieved. Next one is simple planning agent. We know what is an agent. Agent interacts with the real world via perception and actions. What is perception? It senses the world and access the situation. Actions, what the agent does in the domain. So planning involves reasoning about actions that the agent intends to carry out. This reasoning involves the representation of the world that the agent has representation of its actions. So there are two types of constraints, odd constraints and soft constraints. Odd constraints, these are all objectives, have to be achieved completely for success. The soft constraints are preferences to be achieved as much as possible. So what is the difference between planning and problem solving? Planning agent is very similar to problem solving agent. It constructs a plan to achieve goals, then executes them. Planning is more powerful because of representation and what are the methods used. Search. Search proceeds through plan space rather than state place. Sub-goals planned independently. It reduces the complexity of the planning problem. For example, states. Here the states represents the data structure in problem solving, whereas planning logical sentences, set of logical sentences. Actions. Actions nothing but coding, whereas planning preconditions and outcomes. Goal, this is also final code. In planning, logical sentences. Plan, sequence, sequence of actions. In planning, constraints on actions. So planning agent, there are two types of agents. So the planning agents is nothing but the combination of problem solving agents and knowledge based agents. Problem solving agents are able to plan ahead, to consider the consequences of sequence of actions before acting. What is knowledge based agents? So it can select actions based on explicit logical representations of the current state and the effects of actions. This allows the agent to succeed in complex, inaccessible environments that are too difficult for a problem solving agent. So finally, problem solving agent is nothing but the combination of problem solving agents, knowledge based agents is equal to planning agents. Next, what are the key ideas behind planning? Planning emphasizes what is in operator and goal representations. There are three key ideas behind planning. First one is to open up the representations of a state, goals, and operators so that a reasoner can more intelligently select actions when they are needed. Second idea, the planner is free to add actions to the plan wherever they are needed rather than the incremental sequence starting at the initial state. Third one is the most parts of the world are independent of most other parts, which makes it feasible to take a conjunction goal and solve it with the divide and conquer strategy.